Hey friend, I know you're going to love today's episode because we're going to be talking about ways to make time for your exercise when you have a busy schedule. I know that you are juggling all of the things, and I know that it can be challenging to find the time you need for your health and fitness, your time to meal prep and to exercise. Well, I want to help you with that. I'm going to show you 5 ways that you can make some time in your busy schedule for yourself, for your health and your fitness. So make sure you grab a paper and pen, and also make sure you are subscribed to my email list, because this week, at the end of the week, I'm going to be dropping a free PDF weekly planner into your inbox so that you can use that to put some of these hints and tips into practice. Hey friend, welcome to the Fit Productive Mum podcast. I'm your host SJ. I'm an outspoken women's health advocate, productivity guru, daughter of the king, and a 40-something mum to a sassy, independent daughter. If you feel stressed out, overwhelmed, and hate what you see in the mirror, then that stops right here. I'm here to arm you with the knowledge you need to better understand your mind and body so that you can live a life free of diets, fitness fads, and comparison. If you're ready to commit to making yourself a priority, to reconnect with your body and be a present, productive parent, then this is the podcast for you. Grab that superfood smoothie and let's dig in. Okay, now one of the reasons why I called this podcast the name that it is, Fit Productive Mum, because I know from my many years working with women like you who have health and fitness goals on their heart, be that weight loss goals or goals to run park runs or 10Ks or to cycle long distances like I used to, I know that the biggest challenge that we can often face as women is finding the time. Now, I'm going to say something that is possibly quite controversial, but have you ever noticed at the weekends, well, certainly where I live and certainly in the fitness communities that I have been part of, and often when I am out doing like cycle races and that sort of thing, the majority of the people that you see out and about are men. Like, whenever I see groups of cyclists on the roads where we live, it's groups of men, not groups of women. And when I enter the events that I have entered, I have been one of very few women that have been out on the course. And I think one of the main reasons is that we as women are juggling all of the things, and we automatically take on the role of default parent. So when it comes to having leisure time, having time for exercise, we really don't get enough of it. And if we're in a relationship where there are 2 of you who are working during the week and who have got a full schedule, often we as women will not want to be selfish, I guess, and we will, our partner will go out and sort of spend time doing their exercise, perhaps socializing as they're doing it, but we stay home and still take on the majority of responsibility for childcare, which is why I call this episode Fit Productive Mum, because I know that for you to be successful, whether that is in a weight loss goal or a health and fitness goal, you are going to have to take control of your really busy schedule before you can even think about making steps and headway when it comes to your exercise and your healthy eating. Because until we have that time, we're not going to be consistent. And that's what today's episode is about. It's about giving you some ideas so that you can make some time for your exercise even when you have a really busy schedule. And I really want you to understand that I am a mum. I juggle my daughter, I juggle home, I do the majority of the work in the home. We have 3 dogs, I have this podcast and this business, and I also work a couple of days a week at the moment supporting other creatives, organizations with their podcasts as well. So I know what it's like to have a full schedule. But I also know the importance of making time for myself, making time for my exercise so that I'm looking after myself. Because ultimately, one of the things we've been talking about in the past few episodes is about having a goal, having a clear goal in mind, And once we have that goal and we know what it is that you need to do to hit that goal, then we've got to make the time in our schedule. And that's why productivity is such a big part of this podcast, because unless we get organized, we can find all the information that we want about health and fitness and healthy meals and recipes and things like that. But without the time, we're not going to put that stuff into practice. So we're going to be talking all about making time for your workouts, even when you are absolutely crazy and the world just feels totally out of control. I'm going to give you 5 steps today to help you to take back control and find the time that you need and the time that you deserve, my friend, to make exercising your health a priority. Okay, so on your piece of paper, your notebook, wherever it is that you are writing this, number 1, it's about planning them. You need to figure out, and this will come from the work that you've done when it comes to your goal, you need to figure out how many times a week you actually want to work out, how much time you want to spend exercising, and also really try and be mindful of what is realistic. Because if at the moment you are doing no workouts each week, to go from 0 workouts a week to 5 potentially is going to be a little bit overwhelming. And what we don't want to happen is for you to go all guns blazing and then totally burn out and quit. Like, that is not what this is about. This is about creating those healthy habits that are sustainable, the things that we can do that fit into our daily life. Like, let's be realistic. Now, I always think a good place to start when it comes to exercise is to aim, if you like, to fit in like 3 sessions a week. And when I'm talking about 3 sessions, I'm talking about 3 lots of 30 minutes. So that's like an hour and a half over a week. But this is an hour and a half where you are focused on exercising. It's not necessarily half an hour where you might be walking a dog, but it's half an hour of doing some form of exercise that you're not normally doing at the moment, or half an hour of like a really sort of concentrated workout following like a workout program or a workout plan, just something that is a bit out of the norm of your day-to-day life. And 3 is a good idea. And as a rule, I would really recommend that you do 2 strength sessions a week. So that means doing some kind of like weight training, whether that's body weight training or using some dumbbells in your kitchen like I do every single morning, and 1 cardio session a week. So often women are particularly really guilty of focusing more on cardio rather than strength training. And as we get older, it's really, really important as our body goes into perimenopause and menopause for us to be strength training. And I'm currently actually studying a course all about menopause, like fitness for perimenopause and menopausal women. And it's so crucial as our hormones change, as that estrogen drops, that we are doing weight training exercises, because that is going to help prevent osteoporosis, that brittle bone syndrome as you get older. It's going to help protect you from injuries, potentially having hip problems or needing slight surgery and things like that. So if you're not doing any kind of weight training or strength training right now, you absolutely need to add that into your daily life. Now, if you don't know where to start with strength training, or you don't know where to start with the kind of exercises that you should be doing, please book a one-to-one session with me. It's really affordable, and we can talk about the best way for you to get the exercise that you want, the exercise that you need, and where we can put it into your schedule and what's going to work for you. So the link to that is in the show notes. Grab a 30-minute session with me. It's really affordable, and you can absolutely get on top of that and have a clear plan of what you're going to do for the next few months. Okay, so that was number 1. Number 2 is you are then, once you know how many times a week you want to do that workout, you then need to schedule your workout in. And when I say schedule, I mean put it into your diary. Now, I often talk on this podcast about my hybrid system. So I use a combination of a digital planner on my phone. So I use Google Calendar. And then I also have a paper planner, which is, of course, my own planner, the She Rises planner. And the link to that is in the show notes. But you need to make sure that you schedule your workouts in the same way as you schedule like your kids' dance lessons or your kids' swim lessons or dinner out with your friends or the dentist or your haircut. I put my workouts into my Google Calendar because even though I do my workouts at home in the morning in my kitchen, I'm making that appointment for myself. I'm holding myself accountable to it. My phone reminds me before that event happens that I'm going to be doing my workout. And because I also share my Google Calendar with Chloe's dad, Tim, we can also like hold one another accountable to certain events and things. And that will kind of like show up in his calendar as well. And if I'm having a bit of a day where I don't really want to do something, he might turn around to me and be like, aren't you going to do that workout? And I'm kind of like, yeah. But it's really actually giving me that sort of sense of accountability of it's in my diary, I'm committed to it, and I need to follow through on it. Now, if you are like not very organized right now, you don't like the idea of using Google Calendar, and you like a pen and paper, please make sure that you are on my email list, because this week I'm going to be dropping a free weekly sheet PDF planner that you can print off and use as many times as you like for those people that are on the email list. And the link to the email list is in the show notes. And if you want something that is going to be a bit more in depth, that is a proper like fitness planner that's going to give you the space you need to set your goals, to track your progress, to record your water intake, to plan your healthy meals, to write down healthy recipes, to plan your week in, then go and grab my digital fitness planner. And if you go to the link in the show notes where the planners are and use the code podcast20, you get a 20% discount for listening to this podcast. And I don't put that discount anywhere else. So remember, go to the link in the show notes, go over to my website, use the code podcast20, and you're going to get 20% discount off that digital download for the fitness planner. Okay, my tip number 3, and I have done this like religiously for all of Chloe's life. I can say that. She is 5.5 now, and this is something that I have done pretty much every single day since I got my like 6-week check that I was okay to go back into fitness. And that is working out from home. If you have kids, my friend, don't waste your money on a gym membership if you are struggling for time, because the great thing about working out from home is that you don't have to commute to the gym. So you just literally like get up in the morning, and I do always suggest doing your workout in the morning if you can. You get up in the morning, you go downstairs in whatever is handy, whatever clothes you have around, you put those on, you press play on your workout, and you get it done in like 30 minutes. It is the easiest, most cost-effective way of getting a good, quick workout done. I have done this, like I said, for the past 5.5 years since Chloe was born, and it really is the way that I train. I lift weights at home, I work out from home every single day in some form in my kitchen. And honestly, if you want to be successful in your health and fitness, consistency is key. And if you don't have the time right now or you think you don't have the time to work out, please, my friend, do not go and spend your money on a gym membership. Get yourself a really good quality online streaming platform, because yes, there are loads of workouts on YouTube and that sort of thing, but the one that I use gives you like a consistent plan. There are programs on there that are like 3 weeks long, 4 weeks long, 5 weeks long, 90 days, like 100 workout programs. There's all different things of all different types of workouts, all different types of abilities. Some need equipment, some don't. Like dance workouts, yoga workouts, just so many things. And you can follow a really clear plan through the program. And you just know that the next day you don't have to think about it. You just get up and go downstairs and press the button. And I, as a fitness coach, do this because it saves my brain power. I've got somebody else telling me what to do, and all you have to do is show up and press the button. And honestly, if you want to be like successful, consistency is what is going to help you to be successful with your health and fitness. And this is one of those things that will help you to achieve that consistency. Now, before you sit there and say, oh, I can't do that, my kids are up, my kids are around, I'm going to call, BS on that, because I have done this since Chloe was a really tiny baby. And it's such a great habit to start when you have got young children in particular, because even when she was a really small baby, I'd lie her on the floor on a mat, or, she'd be in her Moses basket, or her, she was around, and she was maybe sat in her bouncy chair or whatever it was, and she was just there watching me. And as long as she was close to me and she could see what I was doing, and I'd make silly faces at her as I was working out, or I'd sing songs to her and that kind of thing. She was just there, just bobbing around, doing her own thing. That was when she was a small baby. And then as she got older and she got more mobile, she was still in the room with me, playing with her toys. She'd sometimes try and climb on my back, or she just got used to the fact that this was something that mummy does. And if you install this habit into your children from a really young age, my 5.5-year-old knows pretty much that every single day mummy does a workout, and she joins in, or she watches, or she goes off and does her own thing. It's just normal for her. And if you think about it, what an amazing habit is that for your kids to see, regardless of their age, to see you doing that every single day or 3 times a week, whatever it is for you, because that is just going to be part of their normal day-to-day life. So when they're adults and they are thinking about their own health and fitness and taking responsibility for their longevity, they will have seen you do that, and that will just become part of their normal day-to-day routine. And this is where I think using these at-home workouts have another benefit over the gym. Because yes, you can take your kids to the gym as they get older, but when you're working out from home, your kids are seeing it. They can join in with you. It can become like a family routine or an event that you all do together. Particularly if you've got older children, they might want to, take part in it. But it's just such a great way of instilling such an amazing, healthy habit for your children that is just going to set them up for success for the rest of their life. Now, the online programs that I use, I have linked in the show notes. Honestly, today it's one of those episodes where you're really going to have to look at the show notes if there's any of these things that are kind of jumping out at you and you think, oh, do you know what? I want to find out more information. Go and read through the show notes because I've put all of the links there. It is an affiliate link, so I do get a commission from that, but that always helps me to keep this podcast ad-free. Because making a podcast isn't free. There's a lot of time and effort and money goes into bringing this free resource. So if you use any of my affiliate links, it really does help me to fund this free resource. So let's go on to number 4. Let's talk about point number 4 when it comes to ways that you can make time for your workouts. Number 4 is all about finding the places or the times or the locations where you could perhaps run or walk your errands. So can you do the school run by walking? Could you actually run to the school run? A fun thing that I do with Chloe in the summer, I don't do it in the winter because it's cold and the roads are icy here, but in the summer what I do is I have this bar that attaches to the back of my bike, and it's called a Trail Gaiter. It's like a red solid bar. And what I do is I attach her to the back of my bike, and she sits on her bike attached via this Trail Gaiter. And now she's a bit older, she can cycle a lot of it herself, but there's some fairly decent sized hills between here and her school. And I cycle across, so where we live, in the countryside, I can use some of the bridleways and tracks through the woods to get her to school without going on any sort of big off busy major roads, but it's a really good way for me to get some exercise. And it's not easy, like towing her up some of those hills on my bike, believe me. And it's also a really nice way for us to have some time together before and after school. And she absolutely loves that in the summertime. So have a think about, are there any opportunities where you can be running or walking errands? You know, like pushing your kids in a pushchair. Like one of my friends, she runs her daughter to and from her nursery every single day because it's a way for her to get some exercise. She's also got a crazy spaniel and she takes her spaniel with her as well. So it's kind of like, how can you be the most effective with your time? Because obviously you're going to have to do those things. You're going to have to go to the shops or go to the post office or take the kids to school. But is there a way that you could actually turn that into a workout at the same time? Now, if you have a dog, like this is like the perfect opportunity to turn it into, you know, like more of an actual workout. Perhaps you might want to invest in some like ankle weights or some hand weights and one of those like belts that goes around your waist for your dog. I've got one of those for my golden retriever and it's kind of got like a bungee bit on it, and you could power walk your dog, you know, actually really get your heart rate going. And just think about, you know, you're doing these things. How can you incorporate a workout into that process? And honestly, who cares if you go to the supermarket or, you know, the post office all sweaty? It doesn't matter, does it? But you are making the most of your time getting your exercise and running those errands at the same time. It's also going to save you money as well, because it's going to save you money on fuel bills. So seriously, it's like 3 for the price of 1, that one. Okay, number 5, my last tip is to work out while your kids are. Now, this one's probably more relevant if you have got older children, probably sort of like school age. And this is something that I've actually sort of been able to incorporate more recently now that Chloe's a bit older and she's a bit more independent. But she has a swim lesson every single Sunday. And now that she can swim like the length of the pool on her own and she's really, really independent, she doesn't need any flotation or anything like that, I don't have to be in the pool with her to support her in her swimming lessons. So what I do is I actually put my swimming costume on too, and I swim lengths while she is having her swimming lessons. So I'm in the same pool as her, but I'm just in one of the lanes going up and down. And I actually did that this morning as I'm recording this podcast. It's what we do on a Sunday. And it's a really, really good way for me to, you know, get in a bit of a swim that I wouldn't normally do. And she can, like, I can still see her. I can see what's going on in her swim lesson because, like, I'm not one of those pro, like, front crawl people. I'm the person there who's, like, with my head above the water doing breaststroke. So I can see everything that's going on. So it's my opportunity to do some cardio, but I can also see what she's doing in her lesson and I can wave at her and she's like, "Hi, mummy." And then we can still have like that conversation afterwards of, you know, what happened in your swimming lesson? I saw that you did this. That was amazing. But it's a really good way for you to squeeze in like some extra exercise while your kids are doing a workout, are doing like a swimming lesson, for example. Do your children play football or hockey or something that is like played on a pitch? I mean, perhaps one of the things that you could do is like maybe walk some laps around the field. And if you are like standing outside watching football matches at this time of the year, then, oh, my friend, you are a hero. In the UK, it's so cold. But it will also help you to keep warm. Maybe if you're in the US, I don't know, like your kids are playing baseball or basketball or something, but it's a really good way of you to incorporate some exercise, but you can also watch what they're up to and stay supportive while they're doing their activities. Okay, so those are my 5 tips. Let's just quickly recap them before we wrap up this episode with a nice pink bow. Number 1 is plan. How many times a week do you want to work out and what is realistic for you? Number 2, schedule your workouts like you schedule your kids' activities and your dentist appointments. Number 3, work out from home. because that is going to save you so much time and money as well, driving to and from the gym. Number 4, run, walk. Try and incorporate your exercise into your errands, your school runs, that sort of thing. And number 5, is there a way that you could be doing some form of exercise or workout while your kids are doing their activities? Now, I hope you found today's episode helpful. I did mention a lot of links to resources that I use. All of those links are in the show notes, and if I've missed anything, please send me an email, or if you want some help with anything, please jump into my inbox and I will do my best to point you in the right direction. Have an amazing day, my friend. We have got some really exciting guest episodes coming up over the next few weeks, so make sure you are subscribed to the show. Click the 3 little dots if you're in iTunes, and if you haven't left me a review, please scroll down, leave me a 5-star written review, and I will look forward to connecting with you in the next episode. I hope you loved today's episode and that you learned something, and I pray it blessed you in some way. If so, take a moment to share this with a friend, and I would love it if you could take just 30 seconds for me to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, because it's the only way I know you like the show, and I love hearing from you too.